Nikola Tesla was more than just an inventor. He was a visionary who imagined the future when much of the world was still lit by oil lamps. Born in 1856 in what is now Croatia, Tesla displayed an extraordinary memory and could design complex machines entirely in his mind before ever building them. After moving to the United States, he briefly worked for Thomas Edison. Their partnership quickly fell apart, leading to the famous War of the Currents. Edison promoted direct current, while Tesla believed alternating current was the future. History proved Tesla right. Today, AC powers nearly every electrical grid on Earth. Tesla invented the AC induction motor, developed the Tesla coil, and played a key role in creating the modern electrical power system. He also experimented with radio, wireless energy transmission, and remote control decades before these technologies became common. Many of his ideas sounded like science fiction at the time, but they later became reality. Despite holding hundreds of patents, Tesla died alone and nearly penniless in 1943. He was 86 years old. Isaac Newton, born in 1643 in England, is widely considered one of the most influential scientists of all time. He formulated the laws of motion and universal gravitation, which explained how objects move and how gravity works across the universe. These ideas became the foundation of classical physics and dominated scientific thinking for over 200 years. Newton also made major contributions to mathematics by co-developing calculus, independently of Leibniz. His book Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica is one of the most important scientific works ever written. A famous legend says Newton was inspired by a falling apple, leading him to question why objects fall downward. Whether true or not, it symbolizes his ability to observe everyday events and uncover universal laws. Despite his achievements, Newton was known to be intensely private and sometimes difficult in personality. He spent years working in isolation, driven by curiosity and a desire to understand the fundamental rules of reality. Albert Einstein, born in 1879 in Germany, revolutionized physics with his groundbreaking theories of relativity. His equation, E equals mc squared, revealed that energy and mass are interchangeable, fundamentally changing how scientists understand the universe. His special theory of relativity and general theory of relativity reshaped concepts of time, space, and gravity. Einstein worked at a patent office early in his career, where he developed many of his revolutionary ideas in his spare time. He later became one of the most recognized scientists in the world. Beyond physics, he was known for his curiosity, imagination, and somewhat disorganized lifestyle. Despite his genius, he often emphasized imagination over intelligence, saying that creativity was more important than knowledge. Leonardo da Vinci, born in 1452 in Italy, is often described as the ultimate Renaissance genius. He was a painter, inventor, engineer, anatomist, and scientist all at once. His most famous artworks include the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper, both considered masterpieces of human creativity. But Leonardo was far more than an artist. His notebooks contain thousands of pages of studies on anatomy, engineering, physics, and flight. He designed early concepts for helicopters, tanks, and parachutes centuries before they became reality. He carefully studied human anatomy by dissecting bodies, producing some of the most accurate drawings of muscles and organs of his time. His observations were far ahead of the scientific knowledge of his era. Leonardo wrote many of his notes in mirror writing, possibly to keep his ideas private. He represents the ideal of curiosity without limits, a mind that saw no boundaries between art and science. Thomas Edison, born in 1847 in the United States, was one of the most prolific inventors in history, holding over 1,000 patents. He is best known for improving the practical electric light bulb, which helped bring electric lighting into everyday life. Edison also developed the phonograph, an early device for recording and playing sound, and made significant contributions to motion pictures and electrical power systems. Unlike some inventors who rely on sudden inspiration, Edison believed in relentless experimentation. He famously said he did not fail, but rather found thousands of ways that did not work. He built one of the first industrial research laboratories where teams worked systematically on inventions. This approach changed how innovation is done, shifting it toward organized research and development. However, Edison also had rivalries, most notably with Nikola Tesla over electrical systems. Despite controversy, his impact on modern technology and industry remains enormous. Galileo Galilei, born in 1564 in Italy, is often called the father of modern science. He was one of the first people to use a telescope for systematic astronomical observation, and his discoveries completely changed humanity's understanding of the universe. He observed the moons of Jupiter, the phases of Venus, sunspots, and the rough surface of the moon. These findings provided strong evidence that the Earth was not the center of the universe, supporting the heliocentric model proposed by Copernicus. This idea brought Galileo into conflict with the Catholic Church, which defended the geocentric model. He was eventually tried by the Inquisition and placed under house arrest for the rest of his life. Despite this, Galileo's work laid the foundation for experimental science. He emphasized observation, measurement, and mathematics over pure philosophy. His methods became the core of the scientific method used today. Galileo's courage to challenge accepted beliefs made him one of the most influential figures in scientific history. Marie Curie, born in 1867 in Poland, became one of the most important scientists in history. She conducted pioneering research on radioactivity, a term she herself introduced. Together with her husband Pierre Curie, she discovered two new elements, polonium and radium. She was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize and remains the only person to win Nobel Prizes in two different scientific fields, physics and chemistry. Her research laid the foundation for modern medical treatments, including cancer radiotherapy. However, she worked under extremely dangerous conditions, not knowing that radiation exposure could severely damage human health. Despite facing discrimination as a woman in science, she continued her groundbreaking work and became a symbol of perseverance and scientific dedication. Her legacy continues to influence medicine and physics to this day. Charles Darwin, born in 1809 in England, revolutionized biology with his theory of evolution by natural selection. After years of research and observations during his voyage on the HMS Beagle, he published On the Origin of Species in 1859. Darwin observed variations in animals across different environments, especially in the Galapagos Islands. He concluded that species are not fixed, but gradually change over time through survival and reproduction of the most adapted individuals. His theory explained how complex life forms could develop without requiring sudden creation, fundamentally changing scientific and religious views of life's origins. Darwin's ideas were initially controversial, but eventually became the foundation of modern biology. Today, evolution is supported by genetics, fossils, and molecular biology. Despite his revolutionary work, Darwin was a quiet and careful thinker who spent decades collecting evidence before publishing his conclusions. His work remains one of the most important scientific breakthroughs in human history. Stephen Hawking, born in 1942 in England, was one of the greatest theoretical physicists of the modern era. Despite being diagnosed with ALS at a young age and gradually losing the ability to move and speak, he continued to produce groundbreaking scientific work for decades. Hawking is best known for his research on black holes. He discovered that black holes are not completely black but emit radiation, now called Hawking radiation. This idea connected quantum mechanics with gravity in a revolutionary way. He also worked on theories about the origin of the universe, including the Big Bang, and explored the concept of time itself. Even though his physical condition was extremely limiting, he used advanced technology to communicate and continued teaching and writing. His book, A Brief History of Time, became a global bestseller, making complex physics accessible to millions of people. Hawking became a symbol of intellectual resilience and curiosity without limits. Aristotle, born in 384 BCE in ancient Greece, was one of the most influential philosophers and scholars in human history. A student of Plato and later the teacher of Alexander the Great, Aristotle explored an astonishing range of subjects, including biology, physics, ethics, politics, logic, astronomy, and philosophy. Unlike many thinkers of his time, Aristotle believed that knowledge should come from careful observation of the natural world rather than pure speculation. He carefully studied plants, animals, and human behavior, laying the foundations for scientific thinking centuries before the modern scientific method existed. His writings shaped education and philosophy for nearly 2,000 years, influencing scholars throughout Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. Even when many of his scientific ideas were later corrected, his methods of logical reasoning and systematic observation remained enormously influential. Aristotle's legacy is not based on a single discovery, but on his extraordinary attempt to understand almost every aspect of the world around him. Alexander Graham Bell, born in 1847 in Scotland, was an inventor, scientist, and engineer whose work forever changed human communication. he is best known for inventing the first practical telephone, allowing people to speak with each other across great distances for the first time in history. Bell's interest in sound and communication came from his family, as both his mother and wife experienced hearing loss. This inspired him to spend much of his life studying speech, hearing, and ways to help deaf people communicate more effectively. Although the telephone became his most famous invention, Bell also experimented with aviation, hydrofoils, and optical communication technologies that were far ahead of his time. He believed technology should bring people closer together and make communication easier for everyone. Today, nearly every smartphone and communication device can trace part of its history back to Bell's groundbreaking work. Benjamin Franklin, born in 1706 in the American colonies, was one of the most versatile minds in history. He was an inventor, scientist, writer, diplomat, and one of the founding fathers of the United States. Although many people know him for his famous kite experiment during a thunderstorm, his real contribution was proving that lightning is a form of electricity. His experiments led to the invention of the lightning rod, a simple device that has protected countless buildings from lightning strikes for centuries. Franklin also invented bifocal glasses, the Franklin stove, and an odometer used for measuring distances. Beyond science, he played a major role in the creation of the United States by helping draft important political documents and negotiating international alliances. His endless curiosity and practical mindset allowed him to solve problems in many different fields. Franklin believed that knowledge should improve everyday life, making him not only a brilliant scientist, but also a visionary inventor whose legacy continues to influence the modern world. These were 12 of the greatest geniuses in human history. Each of them lived in a different time, faced different challenges, and changed the world in their own unique way. Some unlocked the secrets of the universe, while others transformed medicine, technology, mathematics, and philosophy. What connects them all is not just extraordinary intelligence, but an endless curiosity and the courage to question what everyone else accepted as fact. Many of them were misunderstood, criticized, or underestimated during their lives. Some never witnessed the true impact of their discoveries. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more videos, and let me know in the comments, which of these 12 geniuses do you think had the greatest impact on the world?